Welcome to a new video. Today we are going to talk about a powerful desert animal. It was called the ship of the desert. It's the camel. A camel is an even-toed ungulate in the genus Camel that bears distinctive fatty deposits known as humps on its back. Camels have long been domesticated and, as livestock, they provide food and textiles. Camels are working animals especially suited to their desert habitat and are a vital means of transport for passengers and cargo. There are 3 surviving species of camel. The one-humped dromedary makes up 94% of the world's camel population, and the 2-humped Bactrian camel makes up 6%. The wild Bactrian camel is a separate species and is now critically endangered. The word camel is also used informally in a wider sense, where the more correct term is camelid, to include all 7 species of the family Camelidae, the true camels, along with the New World camelids, the llama, the alpaca, the guanaco, and the vicuña, which belong to the separate tribe Lamini. Camelids originated in North America during the Eocene, with the ancestor of modern camels, Paracamelus, migrating across the Bering Land Bridge into Asia during the late Miocene, around 6 million years ago. The average life expectancy of a camel is 40 to 50 years. A full-grown adult dromedary camel stands 1.85 meters, 6 feet 1 in at the shoulder and 2.15 meters, 7 feet 1 in at the hump. Bactrian camels can be a foot taller. Camels can run at up to 65 kilometers per hour, 40 miles per hour in short bursts and sustain speeds of up to 40 kilometers per hour, 25 miles per hour. Bactrian camels weigh 300 to 1,000 kilograms, 660 to 2,200 pounds, and dromedaries 300 to 600 kilograms, 660 to 1,320 pounds. The widening toes on a camel's hoof provide supplemental grip for varying soil settlements. The male dromedary camel has an organ called a dula in his throat, a large, inflatable sac he extrudes from his mouth when en route to assert dominance and attract females. It resembles a long, swollen, pink tongue hanging out of the side of his mouth. Camels mate by having both male and female sitting on the ground, with the male mounting from behind. The male usually ejaculates 3 or 4 times within a single mating session. Camelids are the only ungulates to mate in a sitting position. Camels do not directly store water in their humps. They are reservoirs of fatty tissue. When this tissue is metabolized, it yields more than 1 gram of water for every gram of fat processed. This fat metabolization, while releasing energy, causes water to evaporate from the lungs during respiration. Overall, there is a net decrease in water. Camels have a series of physiological adaptations that allow them to withstand long periods of time without any external source of water. The dromedary camel can drink as seldom as once every 10 days even under very hot conditions, and can lose up to 30% of its body mass due to dehydration. Unlike other mammals, camels' red blood cells are oval rather than circular in shape. This facilitates the flow of red blood cells during dehydration and makes them better at withstanding high osmotic variation without rupturing when drinking large amounts of water. A 600 kilograms, 1,300 pounds, camel can drink 200 L, 53 US gal of water in 3 minutes. Camels are able to withstand changes in body temperature and water consumption that would kill most other mammals. Their temperature ranges from 34 degrees Celsius, 93 degrees Fahrenheit, at dawn and steadily increases to 40 degrees Celsius, 104 degrees Fahrenheit, by sunset, before they cool off at night again. In general, to compare between camels and the other livestock, camels lose only 1.3 liters of fluid intake every day, while the other livestock lose 20 to 40 liters per day. Maintaining the brain temperature within certain limits is critical for animals. To assist this, camels have a arrhythmia, a complex of arteries and veins lying very close to each other, which utilizes countercurrent blood flow to cool blood flowing to the brain. Camels rarely sweat, even when ambient temperatures reach 49 degrees Celsius, 120 degrees Fahrenheit. Any sweat that does occur evaporates at the skin level rather than at the surface of their coat. The heat of vaporization therefore comes from body heat rather than ambient heat. Camels can withstand losing 25% of their body weight in water, whereas most other mammals can withstand only about 12–14% dehydration before cardiac failure results from circulatory disturbance. When the camel exhales, water vapor becomes trapped in their nostrils and is reabsorbed into the body as a means to conserve water. Camels eating green herbage can ingest sufficient moisture in milder conditions to maintain their body's hydrated state without the need for drinking. The camel's thick coat insulates it from the intense heat radiated from desert sand. A shorn camel must sweat 50% more to avoid overheating. During the summer, the coat becomes lighter in color, reflecting light as well as helping avoid sunburn. The camel's long legs help by keeping its body farther from the ground, which can heat up to 70 degrees Celsius (158 degrees Fahrenheit). Dromedaries have a pad of thick tissue over the sternum called the pedestal. When the animal lies down in a sternal recumbent position, the pedestal raises the body from the hot surface and allows cooling air to pass under the body. Camels' mouths have a thick leathery lining, allowing them to chew thorny desert plants. Long eyelashes and ear hairs, together with nostrils that can close, form a barrier against sand. If sand gets lodged in their eyes, they can dislodge it using their transparent third eyelid. The camel's gait and widened feet help them move without sinking into the sand. The kidneys and intestines of a camel are very efficient at reabsorbing water. Camel's kidneys have a 1:4 cortex to medulla ratio. Thus, the medullary part of a camel's kidney occupies twice as much area as a cow's kidney. Secondly, renal corpuscles have a smaller diameter, which reduces surface area for filtration. These two major anatomical characteristics enable camels to conserve water and limit the volume of urine in extreme desert conditions. Camel urine comes out as a thick syrup, and camel feces are so dry that they do not require drying when the Bedouins use them to fuel fires. The camel immune system differs from those of other mammals. Normally, the Y-shaped antibody molecules consist of two heavy chains along the length of the Y, and two light chains at each tip of the Y. Camels, in addition to these, also have antibodies made of only two heavy chains, a trait that makes them smaller and more durable. These antibodies, discovered in 1993, are thought to have developed 50 million years ago, after camelids split from ruminants and pigs. Camels suffer from SARA caused by Trypanosoma evansi wherever camels are domesticated in the world, and resultantly camels have evolved trypanolytic antibodies as with many mammals. In the future, nanobody/single-domain antibody therapy will surpass natural camel antibodies by reaching locations currently unreachable due to natural antibodies' larger size. Such therapies may also be suitable for other mammals. When humans first domesticated camels is disputed. Dromedaries may have first been domesticated by humans in Somalia or South Arabia sometime during the 3rd millennium BC, the Bactrian in Central Asia around 2500 BC, as at Shar-e-Sakta, Iran. Recent excavations in the Tamna Valley by Lidar Sabrhan and Erez Ben Yosef discovered what may be the earliest domestic camel bones yet found in Israel or even outside the Arabian Peninsula, dating to around 930 BC. This garnered considerable media coverage, as it is strong evidence that the stories of Abraham, Jacob, Esau, and Joseph were written after this time. The existence of camels in Mesopotamia, but not in the eastern Mediterranean lands, is not a new idea. The historian Richard Bulliet did not think that the occasional mention of camels in the Bible meant that the domestic camels were common in the Holy Land at that time. The archaeologist William F. Albright, writing even earlier, saw camels in the Bible as an anachronism. They provide food in the form of meat and milk. Approximately 3.3 million camels and camelids are slaughtered each year for meat worldwide. A camel carcass can provide a substantial amount of meat. The male dromedary carcass can weigh 300-400 kilograms, 661-882 pounds, while the carcass of a male Bactrian can weigh up to 650 kilograms, 1,433 pounds. The carcass of a female dromedary weighs less than the male, ranging between 250 and 350 kilograms, 550 and 770 pounds. The brisket, ribs and loin are among the preferred parts, and the hump is considered a delicacy. The hump contains white and sickly fat, which can be used to make the clee, preserved meat of mutton, beef, or camel. On the other hand, camel milk and meat are rich in protein, vitamins, glycogen, and other nutrients, making them essential in the diet of many people. From chemical composition to meat quality, the dromedary camel is the preferred breed for meat production. It does well even in arid areas due to its unusual physiological behaviors and characteristics, which include tolerance to extreme temperatures, radiation from the sun, water paucity, rugged landscape and low vegetation. Camel meat is reported to taste like coarse beef, but older camels can prove to be very tough, although camel meat becomes tenderer the more it is cooked. The Abu Dhabi Officers Club serves a camel burger mixed with beef or lamb fat in order to improve the texture and taste. In Karachi, Pakistan, some restaurants prepare nihari from camel meat. Specialist camel butchers provide expert cuts, with the hump considered the most popular. Camel meat has been eaten for centuries. It has been recorded by ancient Greek writers as an available dish at banquets in ancient Persia, usually roasted whole. The Roman Emperor Heliogabalus enjoyed a camel's heel. Camel meat is mainly eaten in certain regions, including Eritrea, Somalia, Djibouti, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Syria, Libya, Sudan, Ethiopia, Kazakhstan, and other arid regions where alternative forms of protein may be limited or where camel meat has had a long cultural history. Camel blood is also consumable, as is the case among pastoralists in northern Kenya, where camel blood is drunk with milk and acts as a key source of iron, vitamin D, salts and minerals. There are approximately 14 million camels alive as of 2010, with 90% being dromedaries. Dromedaries alive today are domesticated animals, mostly living in the Horn of Africa, the Sahel, Maghreb, Middle East and South Asia. The Horn region alone has the largest concentration of camels in the world, where the dromedaries constitute an important part of local nomadic life. They provide nomadic people in Somalia and Ethiopia with milk, food, and transportation. Over 1 million dromedary camels are estimated to be feral in Australia, descended from those introduced as a method of transport in the 19th and early 20th centuries. This population is growing about 8% per year. It was estimated at around 700,000 in 2008. Representatives of the Australian government have culled more than 100,000 of the animals in part because the camels use too much of the limited resources needed by sheep farmers.